Happy Wednesday! Welcome to the Huddle and welcome back to our conversation about self-acceptance. So far this week we've discussed what self-acceptance is and why it's important. And for the rest of the week we're really going to talk about how to cultivate self-acceptance into our everyday lives. So we're really just going to use the three-part definition I shared on Monday to frame how we can increase our self-acceptance. And the first step we talked about is the awareness of your strengths and weaknesses. To accept yourself, you need to know yourself. Good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. So how do you get to know yourself? Observation. The most important piece of observation is to observe yourself without judgment. A foundation principle from the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, where I was certified, and that guides my coaching practice, is your level of awareness your level of awareness is directly related to your lack of judgment. I'm going to say that and read that again to make sure we heard it. Your level of awareness is directly related to your lack of judgment. And if you think about that, makes perfect sense, because if you're always judging who you are, what you're doing, it blinds you to actually seeing who you are and what you're doing, because you're too busy pointing out what's wrong, what should be changed, where else you need to be, what else you need to be doing. And with that thought loop in your head, you're distracted. And if you're distracted, you can't be fully aware, right? So the best way I know how to slow down enough to be aware is to practice mindfulness. Specifically for me, when it comes to observation and observing myself and becoming aware of who I am and my thoughts, I meditate. I practice the art of observing my thoughts and letting them kind of flow through me without engaging them, and really observing how they affect me as well through meditation. And sometimes even in that space, I want to reprimand myself for being so harsh on myself or whatever, and that is another level of judgment that doesn't let me just be, right? So I meditate for 20 minutes every day, and I do 2-minute reset meditations throughout my day to ground myself. And my goal is to eventually build in an additional meditation practice in the evening. But I just started with 2 minutes. So I think like 2 or 3 years ago, when I really wanted to bring meditation into my life, I started using Insight Timer, and I still use Insight Timers to this day, and I started with 2 minutes. 2 minutes of meditation a day, and I grew from there. So how can you learn to observe yourself without judgment? How can you practice more mindfulness? Tomorrow we'll talk about what to observe and how to assess it, which is the second part of the definition that we talked about for self-acceptance on Monday. Thank you so much for watching the Daily Huddle with me, Life Coach Franzani, where I share tips on how to stay motivated to live your best life and become the master of your own destiny. Because we can't just hope to live a good life. Hope isn't a strategy. So every week I pick a theme, and each day we huddle about how to put those themes to work in our lives. I'll see you here tomorrow to continue our conversation on how to cultivate self-acceptance. Give yourself an amazing day.